Oh my Eneru slash Enel, however you want to pronounce his name. This calls for a dramatic head turn. Dramatic, yeah. Okay, guys, hey, how you doing? Teching Barry, back again. I'm sure you all know who we are at this point. I ran the numbers on this, and I have to apologize. I know for years I've been saying Kaido is a dragon, and unfortunately, that's not the facts. That's just not what the numbers are showing. I know a lot of people at this point are going to be commenting down below. That's because he's a duck, Tekking. He's like, no, you don't understand what I just discovered. Kaido is not a dragon, nor is Kaido a duck. We were not even in the ballpark on this one, okay? Kaido is not a dragon. The dragon is Kaido. And I also guess by extension of that, the duck is also Kaido. But, that's another discussion for another day, all right? No, I have irrefutable evidence here in case you need any more clarification. Right here is Kaido's baby picture. I mean, it's right there. I mean, yeah, it's clearly Kaido in this picture, and this is clearly him as a dragon. So, yeah. All right. So, last chapter of One Piece, we saw a muffin fly. This is a weird story. You have to understand, we're not even at chapter 1000 yet, alright? Chapter 997, Oda springs the flying muffin mountain on us, okay? So that means it's gonna get even more intense next chapter, 998, even more intense by 999, and I don't know how you can, level it up into chapter 1000. I don't even know what's gonna go down at this point right now, okay? Honestly, this chapter, I think, if this chapter was chapter 999 and it ended with the cliffhanger that it ended with, I think a lot of people would probably have been like, yeah, okay, damn, what's gonna happen next week? This is gonna get intense, but now that we have 2 chapters in between, I don't know what's gonna happen here. Alright, so the giant Muffin Mountain lifts up, but not just the mountain itself, the entire island of Onigashima is now above the ocean surrounding Wano and is now apparently heading toward the mainland, or the flower capital to be specific. And Kaido had stated, right after he killed Orochi, I'm gonna make this, well, he said I'm gonna make this the pirate paradise, and then Orochi had to, talk about that. He's like, wait a second, that's not what we discussed, Shing! And then he killed Orochi. But then it was like, alright, the scabbards showed up and they attacked Kaido, and, this whole, chaos occurred in the festival hall, all the samurai busting out of nowhere, slashing people down, and you'd think like, oh, alright, well, if Kaido wins, if the Beast Pirates, beat down all the samurai, then Kaido will activate his initiative to, make Wano a pirate paradise. But no, Kaido, man, I'll tell you what, he's a drunk, he sits around all the day, most of the time, just drinking and just sleeping and just, whatever. But, in his spare time, he jumps off of Sky Islands. But I'll tell you something about Kaido. When he comes out and he states a plan, when he says he's gonna do something, he does it. Literally as literally could be, okay? He's like, I'm gonna take Onigashima and push it somewhere else. There were a lot of comments about that in the last video, and I'm like, man, I should have made that joke. So I got a little bit late to the party on that one, but I'm sorry. But yeah, Kaido's like, I'm gonna take Onigashima and push it to the flower capital. That's what we're doing, okay? So, yeah, that's what he's doing. And he's not even waiting until the rebellion is quelled. He's not waiting until, you still got the Straw Hats and the Kid Crew and Law's crew running around. I'm assuming Kaido at least thinks the scabbards are taken care of. I'm assuming at this point the scabbards are beaten down. None of them are probably dead, but I'm sure Neko and Inu's, Sulong has worn off. Kiku's missing an arm. I'm sure maybe some other scabbards are missing some arms. We didn't really get to see them, last chapter all too much. We just had Kaido kind of standing amidst the rubble, being like, I have defeated you all now. The Kozuki era is over. And then he activated his power. All right. Now, meanwhile, while that's going on, we have Yamato running outside. And Yamato mentions that, and I'm going by the Viz translation here, okay? Yamato mentions that dragons have the ability to create flame clouds. And using those flame clouds, that's how dragons fly. Interesting the way that Yamato phrased that. Yamato did not say, oh, Kaido has this devil fruit ability that allows him to turn into a dragon and then uses the flame clouds. No, the way Yamato spoke about it was like dragons as a species. At least that's the way I took it, alright? Dragons as, in the lore, it was stated that dragons have this ability to create flame clouds. I'm also under the opinion that Yamato is a dragon as well as Kaido, so that would make sense, of course. You still have to get the mother in involved in what's going on with that. We'll see how that goes. A lot of people have said that Black Maria has to be Yamato's mother, and Black Maria is 29 and Yamato is 28. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that Black Maria, unless we still get time travel involved in this, pretty sure Black Maria is not Yamato's mother, right? So we don't know what's up with that. Now, Big Mom, though, on the other hand, if you want to say that, maybe there's at least a little bit more to go off on there, and maybe we'll explore that. That's definitely another discussion for another day. But the focus right now is, does Kaido have the devil fruit dragon, or is he like an actual dragon? And I brought this up, I think when I first made the video, after like we first found out Kaido was a dragon. I think I threw it out there as just like a tangent thing. Well, maybe he is an actual dragon, who knows? And in the last few weeks, I'm starting to think of just all the crazy stuff Kaido was capable of, and then we saw Yamato with the fangs. I was like, you know what? I'm definitely getting more on board with the idea, and the fact that Oda has not revealed the devil fruit yet, and the fact that Kaido is, very unique amongst all the other zones, at least we've seen. We haven't seen Kaido's hybrid form yet, if he even has one. I'm starting to think Kaido doesn't have a hybrid form. It's literally, he is a dragon. He was born a dragon, and dragons throughout mythology, and in like modern day video games and movies and stuff, the idea of a dragon transforming into a human, or a human-esque shape, is not completely absurd. It's not completely insane, and I think that would be a really great way of Oda to spin it. He's like, he doesn't have a zone. He's not an Oni that ate the dragon fruit, or he's not a human that ate the dragon fruit, or a dragon that ate the Oni fruit. He is just a dragon, and it's just dragons have the ability to transform into human-like appearances. Now, Kaido doesn't look 100% like a human, and the thing that always bugged me, I'll tell you straight up, the thing that always bothered me was his horns. All right, the horns always kind of bugged me, but I always kind of wrote it off because I'm like, okay, well, think about Chopper. Okay, when Chopper goes into his full human form, he still has fur, he still has his fur and everything like that. So I'm thinking, yeah, oh, okay, maybe even the full human form of Chopper having the fur is kind of the same thing with Kaido. Even when he's in his full human form, he still has like animal like traits coming off of him, right? But a lot of the other zones we've seen in the story don't operate that way, right? Like when Kaku transforms into a full giraffe, there's really no trace of like his square nose anymore. He's just a giraffe. You know what I mean? The same thing with a lot of other zones. And even with Chopper, you could kind of explain it away, because really, Chopper, it's not like Chopper has his antlers when he's in his full human form or anything. He's just this big buff dude that has a lot of freaking fur. I think we've all seen a lot of people in the world that have a lot of body hair. Maybe just Chopper is just, that's the thing. Or you could go even further to say, well, maybe the essence of the human fruit, the variety that Chopper consumed anyway, is a much more primitive, like maybe more like caveman kind of human, so that's the reason why they're covered with all like super burly and have the body hair and everything like that. You could explain that away. But the fact that Kaido, don't see a hybrid form, in his dragon form he has horns, makes sense, and in his human form or Oni form still has the horns. And I kind of explain that away and just like, whatever, I guess that's just what happens. Then we get to meet Yamato. And then also horns. And I'm thinking, all right, there's something else going on here, right? Something weird is afoot here, all right? So, yeah, I'm thinking that, yeah, we already knew that a dragon species existed, right? We knew Ryuma cut down a dragon above the flower capital 400 years ago. The symbol of the celestial dragons is the hoof of the dragon, which is, indicative that dragons probably existed and the Tenryubito probably controlled them back in the day. Vegapunk is seemingly obsessed with creating dragons on Punk Hazard. Probably was a request from the world government, like, we want you to make dragons so we can get back to our original power level of having dragons flying all over the place, right? Going further into this, all the other mythical zones, because if Kaido has a devil fruit, it's gotta be a mythical, right? Of all the crazy stuff he's capable of doing, you'd say, like, mythical dragon, right? He can spit lightning, he could spit wind blades and fire and all this crazy crap. He can manipulate clouds and the flame clouds. The classification of devil fruit you would say fits Kaido the most, if he does have one, would be a mythical zone, all right? Well, something else that's kind of always bugged me, granted, we don't get a lot of mythical zones in this story to compare it to, but we know dragons definitely existed. I mean, they might not be around right now, but we know they definitely existed. So if that's the case, it would be more of an ancient zone kind of deal, rather than a mythical. You know where I'm going with this? Marco has a mythical zone. He can turn into a phoenix. we haven't seen any other Phoenixi around in One Piece, except that one character that was named Phoenix, Puzzle. No, Puzzle, I think it was like Puzzle the Phoenix or Phoenix Puzzle or whatever, that guy from the Ice Hunter arc. Remember that dude? Yeah, aside from him, we haven't seen like an actual literal Phoenix flying around. So I think that makes way more sense, and I would not be completely shocked if in the next few chapters, maybe even in chapter 1000, we find out the big revelation of that, like Kaido doesn't actually have a devil fruit. That would also explain, a lot of people have always said, like, well, if Kaido wants to die so badly, you know, jumping off of Sky Islands and stuff, like that's his hobby, why don't just, you know, dunk him in the water or something? Because if he has a devil fruit power, then he can't survive underwater, right? Maybe he doesn't have a devil fruit, so that's why, like, even that wouldn't be able to kill him sufficiently. I guess you could also always say, he's like, okay, well, let's say he is a dragon that has this just natural ability to transform into this giant hulking human with the horns and everything. He doesn't have a devil fruit, and he still wants to die. Why not just give him a devil fruit and then go underwater? All right, now that is something amusing, because you'd figure, even if Kaido was this massive dragon that can breathe fire and lightning and could naturally transform into this hulking creature that could swing a kanabo around at like Mach 2 and just BAM! Thunder! BAM! Even if that was the situation, it's got crazy amount of haki and everything, don't you think that maybe in that situation, Kaido would still want to have a devil fruit power? Because it's like dragon plus Oni being plus devil fruit power plus haki, you would truly become like the strongest creature in the world. It might just be a personal preference thing where Kaido is just like, you know, I don't want devil fruit powers. I don't need devil fruit powers. I'm strong enough without them. I'm a damn dragon, right? Or there might be another reason behind it. Now, up until this point in the story, we've seen humans being able to eat devil fruits. Animals are capable of getting devil fruit powers. We've even seen the ability to take devil fruit powers and give them to inanimate objects, like with Lasso and Funkfried and stuff like that. Well, we haven't really dealt with actual live-ass dragons before, now have we? You know? Other than the artificial dragons at Punk Hazard, which those don't really count because those are like, you know, artificial. You know, Vegapunk created those. What if it's a thing, and I'm kind of going out on a limb here, I'm kind of grasping at straws a little bit here, but what if it's a thing where maybe dragons are a species that cannot reap any benefits from devil fruit powers? Maybe they just can't receive the power. Maybe it's something because of their biology or something to do with devil fruits or the creation of said devil fruits. Like, there's just some beings in the world, maybe dragons aren't the only ones, where if they ate a devil fruit, it would give them nothing. It wouldn't give them a power, it wouldn't give them a weakness to water, it would just be a disgusting fruit that they would eat, and then the fruit would be destroyed because it would be consumed, and then maybe the fruit would just reincarnate, like, no, it can't inhabit this particular body or this particular creature. You know, it might be something like that, who knows? Because that's the only thing, because, you know, that would explain away why Kaido doesn't just eat a devil fruit and just jump in the water, if that's what he's so obsessed about, right? Or, you know, like, why didn't he just eat a devil fruit to get stronger anyway? You know, it might just be a thing where, like, dragons just can't consume devil fruits. I mean, they can eat them physically, but they're not going to get any powers. They're not going to get any of the negative aspects, like being hated by the sea or anything. They just eat the devil fruit and they just, like, throw it up or something. Like, their bodies won't accept it. Maybe it's something like that. Who knows? So the flame cloud things, I wanted to address that. We've seen this before, and it was explained before by Oda how this worked. I was always a little confused, though, and this is what I was confused by. The way that Oda explained this, I think in the SBS, and, you know, you can always explain it away, maybe translation was not right, but I was trying to compare it to the way Momonosuke uses his clouds. Okay, Momonosuke, when he turns into a tiny little dragon, he creates these little puffy clouds, and then he just, like, grabs them like platforms, and then that's how he can fly. So I thought that's what Kaido was doing, and it just wasn't portrayed well in the manga. That is clearly not the case, though. When you look at Kaido right here in the anime, he's clearly not standing on the clouds, and so I was a little confused by that. I was like, all right, Oda says it's using the clouds to fly, Kaido is, but he's not. He's not standing on them, right? He looks like he's literally just flying. It's not conveyed well. But now, last chapter, from what Yamato said and from what we saw, it's not the actual physical clouds, like what we identify as clouds. Like, we look at a poofy cloud or whatever. No, it's not that. So it's not the exact same thing that Momonosuke is doing. It's flame clouds. So if you look right here, you could see Kaido is very clearly, part of him is on fire, all right? That's what's actually happening. when you are a true full-fledged dragon, is what I'm assuming Kaido is, you can make flames, like little will-o-wisps or just fireballs wherever you want, and they can take whatever shape you want. They could be like fireballs, or they could be like the swirling vortex that lifted up Onigashima. You can make those different kinds of fire clouds or flaming clouds, and those allow you to stay aloft. So in this scene right here with Kaido, the parts of him that are on fire, he doesn't need to physically be standing on them. He just needs to make them. So, for example, if I had this power, I would just, I wouldn't stand on the flaming cloud. I could do that. But instead, I would just, like, make a fireball appear on my 2 shoulders, and then I could fly just, with the flaming clouds keeping me aloft like that. That's kind of what Kaido is doing here. That's what I'm assuming he's doing. I think Yamato could probably do this too, maybe to a lesser extent. And with Momonosuke, keep in mind, Momonosuke's ability is an artificial dragon fruit created by Vegapunk, okay? That was Vegapunk messing around with the lineage factor and everything, so maybe Vegapunk wasn't able to replicate the flaming clouds perfectly. They're just like regular little poofy clouds that Momonosuke creates, okay? So that was explained away there. What is the limit to this? I'm curious, because you'd assume, like, can Kaido just make fire, like these fire clouds wherever he wants and lift up anything he wants? By that logic, like, Luffy would be charging at him like, Kaido, I'm gonna punch you, gear forth, and Kaido's just like, shut up, and then just have like a fireball appear around Luffy or engulfing Luffy and just lifting him up and just like, I can't move. I'm just like, yeah, I control you now. You're in my flame cloud. Is that another ability he has? It seems like it is. He's able to have these swirling vortexes of fire just wrapping around the entire island and lifting it up. I mean, I don't even want to begin to assume how heavy this damn island is. Like in the millions, billions of tons range. I have no idea how big a mountain is. Like factor in the Skull Mountain, plus all the other crap that's on Onigashima, plus all the other people on Onigashima, plus the rocks and the entranceway and everything else, and then all the area that you're lifting up underground. This is beyond heavy. And Kaido's lifting it like it's not even a big deal for him. It's just like, whatever, flaming clouds. All right, let's go. And so we don't know how fast this is going to move. It could be a slow journey over the land of Wano, just enough for everybody to look up and be like, oh my god, we're all gonna die, It could be that, or it could be quick. It could be Kaido like, you know what, I said I'm gonna drop this damn island in the middle of Wano, and that's what I'm gonna do. Let's go. He just gets behind the wheel, Kaido pops the clutch and tells the world to eat his dust. It just, like, drives it over, just stops and just, alright, crashes down in the middle of the damn flower capital, killing thousands, if not tens of thousands or more people, and he's like, alright, now we rock and roll, that's what we do, right? Could he use this power to lift up all of Wano? What's the upper limit here? He lifted up an island like this, like a massive island with a mountain on it, and just whatever. So I don't think it's that crazy to go to the next level and say if he really wanted to do this, he could just, like, lift up all of Wano, right? Now remember, Wano is kind of already on a weird, like, it's like on a mountain in of itself. It's kind of like a weird plateau thing where this is like the sea level down here, and then it kind of it rises up, and then Wano is like at the top here with like Onigashima and stuff. So Wano's kind of already situated like this, and it was like that for long before Kaido arrived, so you can't say Kaido was the one who did that. Although, if we're going along with the logic that dragons used to exist, it could be feasible that maybe not Kaido, but a dragon from way back in the day did this, right? And wouldn't that just be crazy? Wouldn't that be insane to find out that, like, Kaido is the last, like, fully bred, naturally occurring, like, dragon in this world? Like, he's the last one. Like, Yamato is, like, half dragon, let's say. So Kaido's the last full-bred dragon, right? And even if they defeat Kaido, you still have this moment of like, holy crap, back during the Void Century, these things were apparently everywhere. And what if it's a thing where we find out like Kaido is like, yeah, he's strong, but he's not like the strongest dragon that ever lived. He's the strongest, like it was stated multiple times already in this arc. We're really amping this up. Like it was mentioned last chapter and in chapter 996, it was mentioned by Killer, and then last chapter was mentioned by Zoro. Like, Kaido's supposed to be the strongest in the world. I want to slice him down, right? And Killer mentions it to Kid. He's like, this guy's apparently the strongest. He has the highest bounty of any pirate still active in the world right now. So, compared to humans and all the other, like, fishmen, merfolk, long arm, long legs, snake neck, minks, tontatas, compared to all the other races that exist exist in the world, whatever the hell King's race is going to be, compared to all those other races, Kaido's dragon race, his dragon species, lords above all of them. But Kaido's power, let's say, was just average in terms of a dragon. Like maybe back during the Void Century, there was a dragon that was even stronger than Kaido, like the king of the dragons, right? That would be wild. If we get like a flashback to the Void Century or something, we find out like, yeah, there was this dragon that lived back then that was even bigger, even tougher, even stronger than Kaido. You know, and we had to go through all this effort just to kill Kaido, if that's really what's going to happen by the end of the arc. We went through all this effort to get rid of Kaido, and there were dragons that were even stronger. Maybe the dragon that Ryuma slew was like the big boss dragon, even stronger than Kaido. And then maybe over the years, they just died out for various reasons, or something happened, you know, and or like some kind of natural disaster, something occurred, they died, and then all you have left is just Kaido and the last of that line. And since he's the only one left, he's kind of like the big fish in the small pond. He's the big duck in a small pond kind of thing, where it's like his power maybe in terms of other dragons was like average or maybe not even that special, but compared to humans and every other species that lives on the planet, he's the lord, he's the king. You know, there's none stronger than Kaido. If it's one-on-one, Kaido's just gonna win, right? So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna stay with that. I'm hoping in the next few chapters, there's a break next week, unfortunately, but I'm hoping in the next few chapters we learn a little bit more about Kaido's past. And maybe that's what my chapter 1000 might be. Maybe we get another, like a few fights for the next few chapters, and then chapter 1000 we get maybe a little bit of flashback into Kaido's childhood and what it was like, and maybe we learn about, like, we cut to a flashback with Kaido, like, as like a baby dragon being raised in a cave by a giant dragon that's about to die, and it's like, my son, you will live on, carry on the will of the dragons, my son. Oh. And you see little baby Kaido there, like little baby dragon Kaido, and like a tears, like, Daddy, no! And that's why he drinks. You know? Like, maybe, I don't know where this is going, but I guess we'll see. Thanks to everybody that watched the video, thanks to everybody that watched the review, and keeps up with my nonsense. This will be Tekking and Barry signing out. Later, everybody. There's a lot of other series that are, like, really big ones this week. Like, My Hero Academia had a really good chapter. I gotta talk about that this week at some point, so stay tuned, definitely. Have a good one.